Hello and welcome to the Homeschool Oklahoma podcast. I'm Jonathan Bartlett, and today I caught up with the head coach of the Tulsa NOAH Jaguars homeschool track team, Coach Michael Byrams, as the track team kicked off the season competing in the Union Redhawks season opener track meet with a variety of schools in the area. Join us as Coach Mike talks about the upcoming season as well as his vision for the NOAH Jaguars track program. All right, I'm Jonathan Bartlett, and I'm here at the Union Redhawks season opener track meet with Coach Mike. And so anyway, I just wanted to catch up with Coach and see how the track season's doing this year.
Well, it's good talking to you, first of all. Thank you for the interview. It's starting out pretty good. We've been training since January, and so it takes a little bit to get ready to actually compete on a high level. So we wanted to make sure that we had some off-season conditioning. And then we started second week of January training. Of course, when you have bad weather, you got to substitute and find places to practice. And so our biggest hurdle has been finding a good practice location. We don't have the facilities that the public and private schools have, so we have to get real creative. But we do have an agreement with TU, so they allow us twice a week to work out there. And we normally go to World Baseball Outreach, which is an indoor baseball facility. So whenever it's bad weather, we go there.
So you say you started the second week of January. It's been kind of cold the last couple of weeks.
Yes.
How's that working out for everybody?
We tell them to layer up. When it gets below 30 degrees, it's optional, just because we don't want any athletes getting sick. But I always make the cold days optional because it's we care about the athletes. We don't want anybody getting sick. But there are some that follow the protocols of layering, so they'll wear 2 pair of sweats, hoodies, and then when they start to get warm, they actually take one of them off, drop the layer, and then they can still get their work in. And believe it or not, they can handle the cold weather. Yeah.
Someone once told me there's no such thing as bad weather, just bad gear.
That's true.
So how long have you been coaching for NOAH?
We're going into our 9th season. So I started it in 2017. We started with about 18 athletes, and we're about right at 102 now.
Is that for all of NOAH or the track?
All of the track. All of the track.
Track is 102?
Yes.
Wow, that's quite a few
students. We've got 5th grade all the way up to high school.
Okay.
So we have a composite schedule where parents are running and going. So we have meets. We have 2 meets next week, one for middle school, one for high school. And then we have just 4 meets a year for the elementary. It's just hard to find a good elementary meet.
Right.
But that's kind of like our layout there.
So what other schools are at this meet today?
Broken Arrow. This is a 6A meet. And so today we've got Broken Arrow, Bartlesville, Union, of course, Jinx, Lincoln Christian, Claremore, and I think it's a total of 10 teams. I can't remember all of them, but
so our homeschool students are competing against all the top schools from around here.
Yes, and we didn't start that way. With our 18 athletes, we went to 2A meets and things like that because it was new to everybody. And so as we started to get better, better coaching on my part, and as athletes started to grow and develop, then we started to see that we could compete on a higher level. So we started to bump up to 4A meets, and now when you start to expose athletes to elite competition, 5A, 6A schools, it changes their perception of themselves. So they start to see themselves like they do belong there.
Awesome.
So this is why we're here now, because the perception of the entire team has changed, and they want to compete against the best. Win or lose, they know these better teams are going to make them better.
Right.
Yeah.
So you say you have 102 students, so you can't personally coach them all. So what's your coaching team look like?
Well, we've got about 7, 8 coaches.
Okay.
And me, I have a hand in almost everything, but I have a distance coach, Coach Roger. I have Coach Mark, who's my assistant. He can help me with anything. He helps with long jump and hurdles. And then I used to have a throws coach, Chris Jones. He's no longer with us. So I have to get involved in that, or we send them out to a USATF certified coach out in Ramona, and he'll give them some one-on-one training. So it's kind of how we do that. And then myself, again, I'm the sprints mechanics coach. So I coach everything from the 100 all the way up to the 800.
Awesome.
Yes.
So how are we doing in the meet today?
Today, we just had our first event in 4x1. I think our girls got 7th, our boys got 6th, which is pretty good because they weren't in the fast heat. So they beat somebody in the faster heat,
Awesome.
2 teams. And again, these weren't all sprinters, but I did this strategically because this was not a race we were going to do today because we don't have a lot of sprinters. But my thought was I wanted to give some of the athletes some extra speed work. And so this is like a speed workout for some of the athletes.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So if someone wanted to get started in track, how would they do that? I mean, are we too late in the season for them to start, or?
We are, unless they're already in shape.
Gotcha.
You know, you get uniforms and things like that, and you have to order it. They get in, it's like, yeah, we get a few extras, but there's a cost associated with that.
So do you have a fall, anything in the fall, or is it?
Yeah, in the fall we do cross country.
Okay.
So my distance coach, Coach Roger, he kind of runs that. I just help facilitate whatever he needs to run that. But usually we have about 30. About 30, 35 athletes between elementary all the way up to high school total.
Do you need to do any workouts over the summer?
I do from time to time. I take a break for about 2 months after the season. And then in mid-July, I come back and try to do some free, just anybody who wants some technical training for an hour and 15 minutes on one of these hot days.
Gotcha.
You can't do a whole lot, but I offer that. And then we get into off-season conditioning. We start in September. And we do that. We don't ramp up intensity until we get into October, November, and then we transition to do some indoor meets, which we do about 3 to 4. We do it in Pitt State, which is in Kansas. We do Washburn, and we'll try to do the Arkansas. We keep missing it because of the scheduling, but
Gotcha.
that's kind of like our game plan. We do the indoor. It starts in January. Transition to outdoor starts March 1st, and then in the off season, I think cross country starts. They start training in July, right in the beginning of July, and their season starts in August.
Gotcha. So can you tell me about some of your top athletes and what we can expect from them?
Yes, I've got 2 seniors
Yeah.
for the guys. They are Hutch and Maddox, and these guys have been hovering in the 52nd range in the 400. Today they're probably going to be in the fastest heat, and our projections is that they're going to run a 49 today. They're healthy, they're doing really well, and so we had a time trial. They both ran 50 seconds, and that was a cold, rainy day. So we're expecting on the beautiful weather today that they'll actually have a personal best.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and then we also have one of our girls, Anya. She's one of our faster athletes, and she's just technically a freshman, but she's actually running 61 in her 400, but we're believing that she'll hit a 59. She's got some lofty goals this year. We want to help her reach those. So,
fantastic. So tell us about the meet schedule for the season.
Oh yeah, our high schoolers normally we have about 7 to 8 meets, but I put out 9 meets this year because a lot of times weather, cancellations, things like that will mess up our flow in the season. Each meet is progressive, so that by the time we get to April, that first weekend in April, we'll actually be at University of Oklahoma, their high school invitational. High-level competition, wonderful atmosphere. It really just has an impact on our athletes and how it's almost like sending your kids to Disneyland. They get blown away when they walk into the place, but that's how they were when they got to OU. It's just a beautiful environment, high quality. We start here. Next week we'll have a relay meet. The week after that we'll go to Edmond, Oklahoma. Then after that we'll go to Bentonville, Arkansas. Then we'll be back here for Bartlesville. Then we'll have OU. Then we'll have 2 more meets locally, Catoosa and Claremore. And then we'll transition into focusing on the end of the season, which will be Collinsville and then Homeschool Nationals.
What's Homeschool Nationals like?
Homeschool Nationals is interesting because it has gotten really big, 1,200 athletes or so participating. It's scaled down because one of the larger programs decided they weren't going to do that meet anymore. So now when we show up, we're pretty much one of the larger programs. They come from Texas, Illinois, Tennessee, central USA, so to speak. They all gather there, and we have a great meet. I like to call it like a big family reunion for the homeschool community. It's good sportsmanship. Everybody's a Christian for the most part. It's run really well. It's a long day, and you have elementary kids all the way up to high school running, and it's a 2-day meet. And so, actually, it's 3-day now because they do multiple events on Tuesday. The second day, it's elementary meets, elementary athletes all day, and then the third day is all middle school and high school.
And where's that held?
Bolivar, Missouri, at Southwest Baptist University. Great venue, and when we do go there, we actually just we have a good time. We stay in the hotel. We just have a good fellowship. We have a good time talking and learning from each other. So it's a great experience.
That's awesome. So what sort of spiritual development do you all work on?
Well, we encompass that in all of our workouts. So for me, I focus more on the roots. To attract me, it's like the fruit, right? You see the fruit of all that we do. So the root is really every time we come together in a workout session. And so I'm always preaching about, let me just say a little bit of our vision. How about that?
Yeah.
Our vision is to be regarded as the top homeschool track and field program in the nation, not just in Oklahoma, but in the entire country, to set a standard of righteousness. So to be this in both character and performance, we train our athletes that their character fuels their performance. So that in all of this, we want to garner respect and acceptance among the public and private school community. And we communicate this in such a way where we let them know that this God-given vision, because God gave this to us, it cannot be accomplished without God's participation. So what we tell them is, hey, seek God, pray, petition God for grace to compete on an elite level so that the world around us takes notice that God is doing a great work in our lives, and not just us, but in our families and our community. Because if God changes an athlete in this environment, that athlete being changed should have an impact at home as well. Parents should see a difference in their athlete. And then from there, their friends, their church community, wherever they are, other people are impacted by the transformation taking place in their lives. And so this vision also is not that just about competing on a high level, but it also says that we compete for something bigger than ourselves, that when it's not just about me, it's about we, what God does for us to impact, inspire, encourage, and uplift somebody else. And in that, the second part is when they're competing, we train them not to focus on competing against other athletes, but with them to discover, to maximize, and fulfill their God-given potential. So in all of that, we just share little tidbits, how this impacts your personal life. And so there are life lessons in everything that we do. And so everybody's lifting up one another, encouraging one another. We don't advertise. Athletes just keep coming because they keep hearing about NOAH Track and Field from the ones that we train. So it's a very broad vision, but we narrow it down with the focus on uplifting Christ in everything that we do, not just in the sport. So.
Well, that's quite a vision.
Yeah.
Well, I'll let you get back to the meet, but thank you so much for talking with us, and good luck in the meet.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you for listening to the Homeschool Oklahoma podcast. Homeschool Oklahoma is an organization dedicated to protecting, promoting, encouraging, and equipping homeschool families across the state. Please sign up for our newsletter at hsok.org. If you would like to further help our cause of maintaining homeschooling freedoms in Oklahoma, we hope that you will consider joining with a paid membership as well. Thank you for listening.